hate to break it to you, but you're using InDesign all wrong. In this video, I will share with you my 15 must-know tips and tricks to get the most out of Adobe InDesign. You will learn a variety of skills like how to generate a QR code, or how to mask letters to create visually stunning designs, and even how to animate assets to create interactive PDFs. My name is Ashley Harrell, and I've been using Adobe InDesign for well over a decade. Don't forget to subscribe to Envato Tuts Plus for more free courses and tutorials. Let's get started. For tip number 1, I'm going to show you how to use text frames on parent pages. I have a cookbook here that I will be placing my ingredients and steps on how to cook these different meals. So you could take your type tool and use your text frame and go page by page to add your text frames. But in this case, go up to your master pages, also known as parent pages, and use your type tool and create text frames on these spreads. And I will have a place for like a quick overview about the meal, and I'll have a place to list my ingredients, and then also I will have a place for the instructions on how to cook the meal. So once you got your frames where you want them, go back to your regular spreads, and here you can see the faint outline of where my text frames are. Now to activate these text frames, all you have to do is press Shift and Command on your keyboard. Your text frames will now be activated and you can start typing away. So instead of taking your type tool and making text frames on each and every spread, you can do it right from your master pages, also known as parent pages. For my second tip, you will learn how to generate a QR code. Here I have a podcast flyer, and now we need to add some more information. A QR code is a great way to do this. Go up to Object and generate QR code. And from Type, select Web Hyperlink. And here type in your web address of where you want the user to visit. And also, I didn't do this in this step, but make sure you may have to put the HTTPS in the beginning of the web address. And then select on color and select the color that you want your QR code to be from the swatches menu and click OK. Now you can place your QR code on your flyer. But here, I'm not crazy about this yellow color, so I want to edit it. So right click, edit QR code, and go back to our color panel. And now I will select this blue color. Let's get a bit more advanced. For my third trick, you will learn how to create a pop-up for an interactive presentation. Here I have an artist and she's coming out with a new album and she has a new single, but we want to make this a bit more interactive by showing one of her videos for her single. So in my layers panel here, I have a layer named artwork, which is everything that you see here now. And on the second layer, I'm naming it Popup. Now on this pop-up layer, grab your rectangle tool and we are going to create an overlay background because when the pop-up comes up, I don't want the background to be so vivid and bright. I want it to have a nice little overlay on it. So change this opacity to be about 70%. And I'm using this dark bluish color. Now I am going to file place the video that I want to use as my pop-up. And as you can see here, you will get a message saying some interactivity may or may not be supported within an interactive PDF. So go ahead and place your video, and I will place it right here in the center because that is where I want it to appear when it is activated. I will dress up my video just a little bit more by placing this nice neon outline that goes with the color scheme of June's diary. Now, also on this pop-up layer, I need a button, a close button, so that the user will be able to click this button to exit out the video once it stops playing or if they want to exit it out early. So go ahead and use your ellipse tool and create a close button, and I'm going to use my pen tool just to create a simple cross. Now that I have my button, I want to put my button within its own group, and I will name it Close. And then for my video, I'm going to go ahead and rename this as well. And then I will name my overlay. Select the close button and the video and go ahead and group it. And also give that a name from this layer as well. Now we're going to open up our animation panel. And on our animation panel, we want our pop-up to zoom in 2D, and it's going to be on page load for now. We will eventually come back and change this. And the duration, we will change that to 0.75 seconds. And the rest of the information, we're just going to leave it as is. Now for our overlay, we are going to change this to fade in. And don't worry, we will change this events part a little bit later. Also change the duration as well. Now go back over to your layers panel, and we're going to add another layer, and we're going to name this activation. Use the rectangle frame tool and make a shape that covers the number 1. Then go to Object, Interactive, Convert to Button. Now we're going to open up our Buttons and Frames panel. Let's apply some settings. Change the name to Video Button. And then on Event, we're going to keep it on Release or Tap. And for Actions, we're going to click on Animation. And for Animation, we want it to bring up our video, the video and the Close button. And we're going to add another animation so that it brings up our background overlay. Now we're going to select our Close button, and we're going to add some settings to this button. I'm giving it a name, and now I'm going to add some animations. And when we click the Close button, we want everything to go away. So we want everything basically to go in reverse. So now we want to show / hide some buttons here. These are optional settings you can use on whether or not once you click or activate something, whether or not you want the buttons to show. Go back to the video close, and on the events, we want to change it. Now go to Window, Interactive, EPUB Interactivity panel, and click on Play Preview. Now, when you click the number 1, we now have our pop-up appearing and our video will actually play as well. And then you can also click that X button to make everything go away. For tip number 4, learn how to place an animated GIF for an interactive PDF. Here in Photoshop, I've created an animated shoe GIF, and basically I just used the hue and saturation layer to change the color of the shoe, and then I switched that particular layer on and off for each individual frame. And here I will file export it and I will save it as a GIF. Since I've already done this, I'm not going to save it again. But now let's pop over into InDesign. And here I have where I want to place my animated GIF. And I'm going to place it in between the word all and star. Here, file place and select that animated GIF that you just created and place it on your document. I want to create a little bit of overlap, so I will bring the word star to the front. So now with my GIF selected, I want to change the animation just a tad. And if you don't see your animation panel, you can always go to Window, Interactive, Animation. From my preset list, I will change this to Fly In from the left. And I want this to happen on page load. And then these properties, you can leave them as is. Now let's preview. And here we now have our animated GIF. For tip number 5, you will learn how to automate a table of contents. Here I have this furniture catalog and it has different sections. It has like a concept, a timeline, a planning, a gallery section, but I don't want to have to type out each and every one of my sections. And plus, I may actually want to add more sections as well. So I'm going to get rid of my table of contents title here. But there are a couple things you need to do before you can automate your table of contents. So here I want all of my titles to look the same. So go to paragraph styles and create a paragraph style from how you want each one of your titles to look. I'm customizing this a bit more because I want to change the leading on this. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go back through my document and I'm going to change all of my headlines that I want to include in my table of contents to this paragraph style that I just created. I want to add a paragraph style for how I want the actual text for the table of contents to look. So I'm changing this to the contents text. And then I will select this one and create a paragraph style from it because this is how I want my table of contents, the actual words, table of contents. This is how I want that to look. So with basically that all done, I will go up to Layout, Table of Contents. And here for title, change it to Table of Contents, or you can use Contents. In the style, I want the Table of Contents paragraph style. And here in Styles in Table of Contents, I want the Contents title. And then for Style, I want Contents text. And between the entry and the number, you can have a bullet character or a tab or a right indent. So you can kind of customize this the way you want. And then click OK. So now you can go ahead and place your table of contents and everything is listed. For my next trick, learn how to use Pathfinder to create beautiful visual designs. I have this spread here and it says making waves. I'm going to just copy my text that I'm using and I'm going to paste it again, but I want to isolate the letter W, and you'll see why in a bit. And then go ahead and remove this gradient feather that I have on it as well. So from here, I will highlight my letter and then going up to type, create outlines because I want to outline my text for this. And I'm going to copy this and make sure I place it so that it's no longer within this text frame anymore. I only want to be able to see the surfer from the letter W. I will grab my rectangle tool, or I'll just copy and paste my background again and create a gradient for my background. Selecting my background and the letter W, I will go over to my Pathfinder and I will subtract. Now you can see my surfer and the waves. So moving this all back a bit. So what I've done earlier that you didn't see was that I took my surfer and I masked him out a bit. So I'm just copying and pasting this layer on top. Now I'm just showing you the transparent portion. For tip number 7, learn all about the color theme tool. So here I have an infographic and I placed this file, which is an Illustrator file, within my InDesign document. But here I have my swatches panel because this will be a web infographic. So as you can see here, I am using my eyedropper tool and I'm going along and trying to select the swatch one by one, which will be tedious. But you don't have to do that. All you have to do is select your color theme tool here and click your document, and it brings up a set of swatches from your graphic. And it gives you a selection that you can choose from, and you can add them to your swatches panel just like that. For trick number 8, we're going to create a neon text effect. Even though I don't normally use InDesign for text effects, it does get the job done. And from the effects panel, we are going to start off with a drop shadow. We are going to change our distance to be about 5 pixels. And our size will be about 2.6. And now we will add an outer glow to give that neon text that nice little hue, that nice glow that it has. And I will change my mode to hard light and use the cyan color and change the opacity to be about 90%. I will increase the size to about 21, and I'm going to add a little bit of noise to this, about 15%, and increase the spread as well to about 8%. And now for inner glow, I will keep the blending as is, except for the opacity. I will increase that to 100%. And my size will be about 5 pixels. And now for the bevel and emboss, because we really want to give it that 3D feel, let's change the size to be about 4 pixels. And for our shadow, we will choose the magenta color. And the opacity for highlight will be 90%, and we will keep the opacity at 75%. So to jazz this up a little bit more, I will add the word night below comedy, but this time I'll use a script font. For my next tip, I'm going to show you how to highlight via the underline method. So here I have a flyer for a car dealership, and we want the call to action, which is the call us portion, to stand out a bit more. So an easier method is just to highlight your number and click option and also the underline. It brings up underline options, and here you can offset where you want the underline to be. So I've increased the weight so that it covers the entirety of the phone number, and I'll change the color to yellow. And so now we have our highlighted phone number. And so I can add a space before, I can add a space after, and it will extend that highlighted area. For tip number 10, I'm going to show you how to export a file to a PowerPoint that we can edit. Here I have a masterclass document that I started designing in InDesign for a client, but then they decided that they want to be able to edit it in PowerPoint once it's all said and done. But hey, no worries. InDesign is great for this. Go up to File, Export. And then in format, we're going to do Adobe PDF, and we want to make sure that the preset is high quality. I'm doing pages. I want to view the PDF after exporting. And also, I'm just going to include any hyperlinks. So click on export, and then it will pop up in Adobe. And then go to File, Export to, and Microsoft PowerPoint Presentation. So now you can save it as a PowerPoint presentation. So here I'm going to uncheck include comments because there's no comments on this. And I'm going to click recognize text if needed. I want them to. And then click OK. And then you can also click save once you do this. Now we have our PowerPoint file. And as you can see, it did a pretty good job exporting this file and making it so that I could edit it. But you must also remember, if you were to send this off to a client, you should also remember to package any fonts. For my next trick, learn how to use the Find Change feature. Here I have a template that I downloaded from Envato Elements, and as you can see, it already has a brand name in the template. But I want to change it out to another brand name. To do all that will be very tedious. So as you can see, it's on the cover here, and then it is also on the footer of each and every page. So I could just select the name and change it out, but I will have to do that for each and every one. To do this quickly, I will go to Edit, Find/Change. And for the Find What, I will type the name of the brand that's already being used, and then I would change it to the brand name that I want to appear. Click on Find Next and click Change. And then I'll click on change all, and then it'll show me how many replacements were made. And then you can go over your entire document and see that in each and every place, the name has been changed. So it saves a lot of time. It's very quick, very easy to do. For my next trick, I will show you how to create multiple page sizes within one document. I have this wedding suite here, and I want them all in one document. This is great if you want to be able to show the client in one single PDF instead of having several PDFs. I am making note of the size, which is a 4x6. And in my main file that I want to add more pages to, I will create a new page and then go up to my page tool. And up in the top toolbar, I will change the size to a 4x6. Now I can just copy over my artwork from the other file and paste it into my main file where I want all the different pages to be. And there was no need for me to add the 0.25 since the pages already had bleed. And you can keep on doing this for all the rest of the different page sizes. So another great thing about this is that if you decide that you want to export, if you're about to send it to print, you can export it as a print PDF. And then in this here box, you can click on create separate PDF files. So it won't all be in one singular file. And you can, of course, use your document bleed settings and click on export. For my 13th trick, I will show you how to use data merge. So I have a florist business here, and these are her business cards. Now, data merge is great for business cards. And here's my employees Excel file. I have a column for name. I have a column for job title, email address, street name, city, state, zip, and phone number. And then make sure you place each one of these within its own column. So now you file, save as, and you save it as a CSV. Now go back over into your document and select your type tool and create a space where you want the employees' names to go. And here I've created some paragraph styles. Now let's merge all of this content into our business card. Go to Window, Utilities, Data Merge. And from Data Merge, we need to link our source file. And here I will find the CSV file that I just saved. From our data merge, you can start dragging and dropping each one of the sections into your text frame. And make sure you click enter on your keyboard after each section that you do. I'm applying those paragraph styles that I mentioned earlier. Now, if you want to preview, just click on preview and you can preview each and every one of the contexts that you added to your CSV. And as you can see here, one of my names are a bit long, so I will edit my paragraph style to make it a bit more smaller. For tip number 14, I will show you how to make a fillable PDF. Just grab your rectangle frame tool, go up to Object, Interactive, and convert to text field. This will bring up the buttons and forms panel. You can give it a name. And then you have options down here if you want to make it scrollable, if you want to make it required or multi-line. You have a lot of different options you can choose from. And then keep going through and adding your text fields. This part for the what font styles do you prefer, I want to make this a series of check boxes. For the type, change it to a checkbox and also give this a name as well. So my font styles that I will have will be like sans serif, serif, script, and slab serif. And for budget, this will be a list. And then for list items, I will type each amount. And now for the last part, signature. We're going to create another rectangular frame and click on signature for this one. Go to File, Export, and we will change our format to be interactive, and then click on Export. And now we have our fillable form, and all the ones that I said I wanted to be required are outlined in red. And then our font styles, we can check those, and our budget is a list. And then signature is built within Adobe, and it has the digital ID that you can do. For my last and final trick, number 15, I'm going to show you how to wrap text around a subject. Here I have this magazine spread about this tiger, but I want this text to wrap around the tiger's head. Now I could go in and use my pen tool and go point by point around the tiger's head. And all you would have to do is select your image of the tiger and go up to Window Text Wrap and select this third one here, which is Wrap Around Object Shape. But you see that all of our text is gone. To bring it back, we're going to go down to Contour Options, and for type, we are going to select Subject. And now all of our text is wrapping around our subject. And of course, it isn't perfect, but like I said, it gets the job done. You can also edit this path by using the direct selection tool, and you can actually go in and select the points if it gets over into the white areas. I've shared with you my 15 tried and tested tips for mastering Adobe InDesign. If you found this video to be helpful and you would like to see more, please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to click that bell icon to be notified of any new videos. Thanks for watching.